Because, for the most part, Tywin only did things that contributed to a plan he had in place that would span multiple generations. He wanted Lannisters to rule each and every one of the 7 kingdoms. This is because he likes power. Another theory is that it's to prevent the other great houses from rising against his house and trying to wipe it out. After all, Lannisters are almost universally hated or envied. Welcome to my channel. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and also click on the notification bell to remain updated. But, back to the Westeros domination plan. Tywin had secured 3 kingdoms with Cersei's marriage to Robert. Cersei was her children's only active parent, but still not a good one, so they mostly took to their Lannister side of the family. And it just so happens that Joffrey and Tommen were the future rulers of both the Crownlands, as royal princes, and the Stormlands, as the Baratheons. Potentially, Stannis and Renly could have been ahead of them, but accidents happen in Westeros. Just look at Robert. And Jaime was always heir to the Westerlands in Tywin's eyes. Tywin always assumed he'd be able to convince Jaime to give up being on the Kingsguard and claim Casterly Rock one day. Jaime's children would then inherit Casterly Rock. And it could always be handed off to an heir of Joffrey or Tommen if needed. Then comes Sansa. She's a Stark of Winterfell, meaning that she and her children could be in the running to inherit rulership of the North. She's also a Tully through her mother's side, and that means she and her children could theoretically have a claim to the Riverlands. That's 2 regions she's a key to. And both those regions were at war with the Crown at one point. So, if Tywin could defeat the North, which he did, and take control of the Riverlands, which he kinda did, he could use Sansa to take over both kingdoms, which he tried. In the meantime, he had the Boltons and Freys oversee the regions, but his plan was always to have Lannisters take over at the end of the day. So, Sansa needed to marry a Lannister. Tywin is too old. Jaime was still in the Kingsguard and Tywin probably didn't think Sansa, a young daughter of traitors, was good enough for him. The marriage to Joffrey was Robert's idea and it wasn't beneficial to Tywin. I think Tommen could have been a good option, but there are drawbacks. Tommen could be an heir to the throne, the Stormlands, or Casterly Rock. So, it's best to keep him available in case a marriage to him ends up being a useful bargaining chip. And Sansa is older. So is Marjorie, but her marriage to Tommen was a last resort to keep the Lannister-Tyrell alliance in motion. So, Tommen and Sansa wouldn't have been married to each other if it wasn't a dire emergency. Sansa's marriage to Tyrion was useful since he's a Lannister, by technicality from Tywin's perspective, and Tywin might not think he had better options. Sansa also had no say in the matter since she was mostly a hostage. Tywin literally only wanted Sansa's womb, and Tyrion is very good at screwing, so it was a perfect fit. It was also a hasty, reactive move after Tywin found out the Tyrells were planning to marry Loras to Sansa. So, there might not have been much time to think of anything but blocking the Tyrells from accessing more power. With Tyrion and Sansa married, the North and the Riverlands would eventually be available for Lannister heirs to claim. Especially if Sansa had a mysterious accident after birthing a few sons and Cersei ended up raising the children as her own. In addition, Tywin also told Cersei, husband-killer extraordinaire, to marry Loras and give him children. Loras was the heir to the ruling family of the Reach, meaning Cersei's kids would be the next Tyrell heirs. Even if he never touched her, she'd probably just get pregnant with someone else's children and pass them off as Tyrells. And let's not forget that Tywin threatened to send Loras to the Kingsguard if the marriage wasn't brokered, which would mean that either Joffrey and Marjorie's children would inherit Highgarden or rulership of the Reach would be given away at the king's discretion when Mace died with no heirs. And Myrcella ended up being betrothed to Trystane Martell, meaning her children would be heirs to Sunspear and rule over Dorne. So, Tywin had the deck stacked perfectly to be able to have his descendants rule 5 or 7 kingdoms, plus the Riverlands. And it all fell apart because of his poor parenting. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and drop comments. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything.